This video is going to show you about trim. Trim is another everyday AutoCAD tool that's part of the modify commands. Trim is used to cut pieces of lines or arcs or ellipses or rectangles or whatever it is that you don't want to kind of cut little pieces away to help you achieve your objectives. In this case, I've got a green circle with a yellow line passing through it, and I want to trim away the line that's inside of the circle. So I'm going to leave the line on the top and the line on the bottom of the circle, but cut the middle portion away from the circle. So the best tool for that would be our trim tool, and trim is found on the modify panel on the home ribbon. So we'll pick the trim tool, and we have to really watch what our command line is saying all the time in AutoCAD. So AutoCAD is asking me to select the cutting edges. So the cutting edge in this case, because I'm wanting to cut the line away to the circle, the cutting edge in this case is the circle. So I'm going to click on the circle, and that's the only cutting edge I want. AutoCAD is still asking me to select objects, so I've got to right mouse click to advance the command. So once I right mouse click, AutoCAD now asks me to select the objects to trim. Select the objects to trim. So in this case, I'm going to pick the yellow line inside of the circle, and that part of the line goes away. I could continue to trim more elements to that circle, but in this case that's all I need to do. So I'm going to right mouse click one more time to finish the command. Okay, and again I have the time sensitive right mouse click turned on. You may have to right mouse click and pick the enter if you haven't turned that option on. There's a video called AutoCAD options that you might want to look at that shows you how to set that correctly. I'm going to pan down a little bit and look at this next little example here. I want to trim the magenta colored circle and the rectangle to match the left side. So I'm wanting to cut this part of the circle away and this part of the line away. So in this case I'm going to have two cutting edges. The circle is going to be a cutting edge, and this yellow line is also going to be a cutting edge. So once again I'm going to pick the trim tool, and AutoCAD is asking me to select the cutting edges. So the cutting edge, like I said, will be this magenta circle and this yellow line. Those are the only cutting edges that I need. So I'm going to right mouse click to advance the command, and now I want to pick the pieces that I want to go away. So I want this outside of the circle to go away, so I left click there, and I want the inside of this line to go away, so I left click there. I'm finished with the trim in this case, so I'm going to right mouse click to advance the command, or actually to complete the command. Now this next exercise I want to trim kind of alternating all the way around the circle. So there's quite a few, all of these yellow lines would be cutting edges. And I could certainly go through the trim just like I've just demonstrated and select each of those cutting lines or each of those lines as a cutting edge and make the trim happen. But there's a little bit more efficient way that I can show you. Now most of the time when I show people this, they think, well, why would you ever want to do it the other way? But trust me, there's cases where the other way is much preferred and will reduce your workload considerably if you only want to trim a particular piece of an element. So I'm going to pick the trim tool one more time. And again, just like before, AutoCAD is asking me to select all, or to select the cutting edges. But notice here in these angular brackets here, select all, that's the default value. That means if I press the enter key, that's what AutoCAD is going to accept as my cutting edges, select all. So just by pressing the enter key, everything in the entire drawing now is a cutting edge, which again, that sounds like a great thing, but it's not always the best case. So everything is a cutting edge in my drawing now, and now I can simply alternate my way through this project and finish this up rather fast by clicking on the pieces that I want to disappear. So I've completed this little exercise. I'm going to right click to finish the trim command. Now, trim has a little sister that I call it, called extend. And extend works exactly the same way, except it does the opposite thing. Instead of cutting away, it actually extends or makes the element longer to reach up to that object. So I'm going to demonstrate that one time. In this case, I've got this line on the top of the circle, and I want it to continue on through the circle. So the extend tool is behind the trim tool. I'm going to drop that down and select the extend. And the boundary edges. Again, AutoCAD is asking me to select the boundary edges, or we have the select all. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and just select the circle, and that's the only boundary edge I need. So I'm going to right click to advance the command, and then I pick the element that I want to extend to that circle, and I right click to finish up the extend. We can extend multiple elements at a time, so I'm going to pick the extend tool again. In this case, I want to extend these yellow lines to the green lines, so I pick extend. My boundary edge is the green line. I right click to advance the command, and then I extend these portions of the yellow line to that. Now this line won't extend. Any ideas why? The reason this line will not extend to that one is because they do not ever intersect. So this line cannot intersect into that line. Another neat trick about the extend is that we can use the extend all just like before. So in this case, I'm going to use that option. So I'll pick the extend, and I'm going to use the select all by pressing the enter key. In my case, it'll be a right mouse click. Everything is now cutting edge, so I can click these lines to extend them. I can continue to click to extend past the first element. Click it again, and it keeps going. So I'm going to take the green lines to the green circle, and the magenta lines to the magenta circle. Uh-oh, I went too far with that one. One of the neat things about trim and extend is if you hold the shift key in, it does the opposite. So if I'm in extend and I want to trim, I can hold the shift key in and trim pieces away, or if I'm in trim and I want to extend, I can hold the shift key and extend those pieces. So I hope you enjoyed this, and again, trim and extend are definitely everyday AutoCAD tools. If you have any question, give me a call or send me an email. Thanks.